My name is James David Conley, 33 years old. I'm from Kirksville, Missouri. I started out at the age of 15, drinking, smoking pot, just like any normal kid, hanging out with friends and stuff. It progressively got worse. I started selling drugs, and it really didn't affect my school or nothing, but I got kicked out for some violence. And that year out of school, being suspended, it was too much time on my hands, I guess. And I started using more, started hanging out with the wrong people. I built up a relationship with drugs and selling them, using them. It just took off. I got introduced to crack cocaine. I was addicted to it for 2.5 years until I was 18, and then I started using methamphetamine, and 17 years later, here we are. I started going to jail quite a bit, losing my temper. There was several times that I was incarcerated, and I was left in there facing 15 or 20 years, and I sat for quite a while, and I knew I had a long road ahead of me, and I grew up around the stuff, and I could see my life starting to follow the same pattern. All the people that I used to despise when I was little and be mad at, you know what I mean? I was following in the same footsteps. 18, 20 years old, I had a really good job. Laying brick, or laboring for some bricklayers, and they were teaching me how to lay brick. And me and their nephew, we went to school together, and we got really, really close, just like brothers. And we got into an altercation about something, and I ended up stabbing him, and it got taken all the way to the courts. And I lost my friend, I lost my job. That's when I really chose the life of crime, street life, and it just progressively got worse. I chose Heartland. I had a good friend back in 2000, I want to say 14. He told me about Heartland. I was facing some pretty serious charges, and I was young. I had never been to prison. I didn't know what prison was like. I'd always kind of had the inclination, since I chose that lifestyle, that maybe and it was a possibility that I would go. But I grew up in a church, and I heard about this place, so I decided to come take a look for myself, and got accepted. I came here. I was here for 3 different stints, 4 months at a time, from 2016 to the middle of 2017, and I was kicked out each time. This last time, it'd been almost 9 years, I guess, maybe 9, give or take a little bit. My whole life became unmanageable. Everything I did, from the time I woke up to the time I went to sleep, if I went to sleep, was illegal. There was nothing positive, nothing good about my life, and I was so wrapped up in it that I was fighting to die. It's hard to explain where I was and how I got there, because not long before that, I had everything a person could want: trucks, house, I had my own business, dogs, wife, kids, all this, and at just some point, with the drugs and everything, it just wasn't good enough. I just wanted more and more things my way. So when I got incarcerated a year and a half ago, I knew I could go to prison. I could get right back out. I could pick back where I left off, but something had to change. I'd just been charged with life plus 20. Was 2 weeks away from a trial, and God blessed me with the opportunity to take a plea agreement that I was not really. It kind of shocked me that I got it. They were so adamant from the start of it that I was going to do at least 20 years of my life, if not more. I wasn't sure when I made the decision to come here that I was even going to be accepted, or if I would make it, because the last 3 times had been pretty hard on me. As a kid, I wasn't used to working, I wasn't used to submitting, listening, but it's been the best blessing of my life, and it gave me a whole new shot at life. I've made a lot of irrational and spontaneous decisions my whole life, just living on the edge. And this time, even though I wanted to go the other way, and I wanted to, feed into my flesh and do things that I normally and was used to doing, something grabbed a hold of my heart and my head at the same time, unlike before, and it made sense. You know what I mean? I honestly believe that if it wasn't for coming here, and it wasn't for nothing else, if it wasn't for being here for the time that I've been here, that wouldn't have made sense in my head, and I would have made a really crucial decision that would have affected my life and many other people's lives. That was when I came. I didn't really realize it until I came back. I knew I'd made a good decision, but when I came back and realized how bad that could have been, God spoke to me, That's all. That's the only way I can put it. And it wasn't an audible voice, but it was just a thought after the thought of messing up, which had never been there before. But I'd never really been in a positive environment in a long time to have them positive thoughts. Now the drugs are no longer a part of my life, so my source of happiness is God, Jesus, and the little things He's blessed me with. I enjoy seeing others enjoy themselves. That's what's kept me grounded. What's made me happy in the past has not been good for me or others. So I'm trying to still find, the things that normal people enjoy. I'm still trying to find my happiness in that, and it'll come. My future is brighter than it's ever been. I was so wrapped up in things that don't even make sense to most people. I was trying to save and hold on to them. Most of that's gone. I still have battles I deal with mentally and in my heart every day. But for the first time in my life, I'm not going to get out and hit a lick, do something illegal to get ahead in life. I've obtained my CDL permit while I'm here. I'm on my way to CDL school shortly after I leave. I'll be able to make enough money and support myself and my family. That's worth everything. And a lot of relationships, I guess, have been repaired and reassured. People see a completely new person. My mother was my biggest supporter, but she was so scared to answer the phone if I was dead or if I was, it hurt somebody else. She didn't know what was happening. And now I can hear the joy and stuff in her voice and see it in her eyes. And that's what matters to me. Anybody that's struggling with addiction, if you want something better, listen to the thoughts He's put in your head. The times you know it's wrong, them are the thoughts that you've got to hold on to. Look for it and listen to it. Just knowing it's not good enough. You can reach out and find some good people in this world that are there to encourage and nudge you in the right direction. Heartland has done that for me.